Have you ever stopped to think how much you listen with your eyes? You're listening with your eyes. My name is Laura Jean Palmer-Moloney, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Situational Awareness Story Time. And today, I want you to think about the mask that we are being asked to use right now. We're being advised to use, not just to ask, but advised to use right now to prevent further community spread of COVID-19. When you put on a mask, it changes the way you look at the world, the way the world sees you. It changes the way we communicate. I learned this big time when I was in Afghanistan. I was there as part of a group called the AFPAK Hands. We were part of the counterinsurgency initiative and Operation Enduring Freedom, and my role required me to engage frequently with civilians and people in communities, many of them being women. So as part of my indoctrination into Afghan culture, I was able to travel from Camp Leatherneck, to be based in Kabul for a while, to be in the city, to be working with people in many different ways. And one time I had the opportunity to get into the market, to actually go shop for a burka myself, and to feel like what it was like to be in this cover. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it was like to be in the burka and what it was like to be trying to communicate with people who wear covers. Okay, this was a traditional way that we would wear our scarves, right? You know, because we've been told you can wear a scarf, you can use it to cover your mouth, and you sure can. But most frequently, I would be out wearing a scarf like this. The main goal was to cover my hair. If I wanted to, I could cover my face. It's a different feeling tone, but it'd be easy to get undone as soon as I was ready. But it was out of a show of respect. It was out of working with people in a community that was predominantly Muslim, and I wanted to honor that practice, so I covered my hair. I am deaf in my left ear. I'm deaf in my left ear from a car accident in 1973. And I've known for the past 40-something years that I can turn a deaf ear to anybody, which has its benefits. You can strategically determine where you want to sit on a plane if you're feeling like you're social or you're not. If I'm sitting in the window seat with my deaf ear to the rest of the plane, I've checked out. So that's a hint if I ever put you on that side. But these circumstances of trying to speak to someone in a burqa were problematic, because I don't believe until I was in that kind of a setting that I realized I go deaf if I can't read lips. It's very hard to make sure. I've got a real issue with spatial orientation as far as if somebody drops something. I don't know where it came from. Where did that sound come from? If someone's speaking to me and I'm trying to use a sort of auditory location, I am screwed. But I realized that I rely on reading lips because of my hearing loss. I rely on body language. And if you're wearing a full burqa, if you are covered from head to toe, I can't pick up the clues that I need to be able to understand you. Particularly, this was a situation with women in Afghanistan, and I needed to be able to try to get the feeling of a conversation. Even though I was using an interpreter, I worked with a beautiful young woman who served with me to help me understand what was going on. It was challenging. Now, we're going to go inside the burqa for just a moment, right? Because I had the opportunity to be fitted for one and to buy one in the market in Kabul. When you put on a burqa, your face is covered, and it's covered by a checkered pattern. And when you're looking out through this checkered pattern, when you're covered in a burqa, you lose your peripheral vision. When you're covered in a burqa and you're trying to walk, and the front of your mask is bouncing back and forth, you can get really disoriented. You almost have to train yourself to constantly be focusing on a sight picture way in front of you so that you're not distracted by this constant movement of the material in front of your face. I am fortunate that I didn't need to wear glasses all the time or something. I don't know how women would do that because it's tight against your head. And those burqas are made out of a material that is one step on the side of cloth from hard plastic. It's just, it doesn't breathe. It's kind of suffocating in a literal and figurative sense. I couldn't hear because I couldn't see the mouths of the women who were speaking with me. If they were covered, I was lost. A few days ago, my husband and I went to Walmart. We went to go pick up a few essential items. And when we were checking out, I always, I do shop for some things at Walmart. When we were checking out, we found our favorite checker, Miss Pearl. I like to get into conversations with the women and men who are checking me out, whether I'm at the grocery store or, doing whatever I'm doing. And I am engaged with people in this scenario where they're kind of scanning things and I'm waiting to pay. Well, one day, Miss Pearl was telling me a wild story about before she was a checker in Morehead City at the Walmart. In her younger days, she had lived in Saudi Arabia. In her younger days, she had been involved in some work with the Department of State, and I didn't ask more and she didn't reveal more, but wow, this woman who right now is 85 years old, working at the Walmart, had lived this wild and adventurous life I can only imagine in the 60s and 70s in Saudi Arabia. I went to her a couple of days ago with my husband. We found Miss Pearl. We're trying to get our stuff. We've got our gloves and we've got our mask and we've got our wipes. She's standing behind the at her station with no gloves, no mask. I'm like, Miss Pearl, where's your stuff? And she couldn't hear me. And I realized that she said, she can't wear a mask because it fogs up her glasses. And she has hard time hearing what you're saying because she reads lips because she's hard of hearing. How many people right now are trying to work with complying with the health regulations? If you're out and about right now, you should be wearing a mask. But they're challenged. Other people are wearing masks and you're stuck, you can't hear. So I want you to just think about that for a while. This may not apply to you at all, but just be aware that some of the people in your world right now may not be able to hear you, not because you're not speaking or you're not speaking in a language that they can understand, but your mouth is covered and they need their eyes to read your lips to be able to hear.